Hey, it's Chris, Mr. Money Fingers Hat Ad. Today I want to answer a question from Tony Finbar-Smith. And Tony says, Chris, how do you figure out how much to charge? That's a really, really good question. I think Tony specifically may have been asking, how do you figure out how much to charge as a copywriter? But let's talk about how do you figure out how much to charge in general for info products, for regular products, etc. Let's talk about info products in particular. The thing about information is there is no commoditized kind of value for it most of the time, right? How much is a copywriting course worth? Well, is it worth $1,000, $2,000, $6,000? I've sold them for $6,000. It's really worth whatever the perception of the market is. If you're able to take your product and say, hey, this product is worth $6,000 and here is the reason for it, and here is the proof that what I am going to be giving you is going to solve the problem for you, and here is me kind of showing you how your life is going to change when you take this product and you put it into action in your life. And if I justify the price by comparing it to, hey, you could go to a university and pay $40,000, you can go do this, then you can set the price for what you're doing. It's based on the value that you are providing, not on the cost that it cost you to create the product, and not even on what you personally think it should be worth or anything like that. It's not about what you think it should be worth. It's about what the perceived value from the market actually is. And it's your job as a copywriter or a marketer to justify that price and then make that price, whatever it's going to be, seem like an absolute discount compared to what they could pay in regular circumstances as far as getting the problem solved in a different way. Now, the way that I tend to figure out prices for that kind of thing is either that I will look at comparable things, like if I'm doing a relationship advice product, I'll go on ClickBank, I'll say, okay, all of the relationship advice products tend to be around $47. Do I want to be at that same price? Do I want to be at a higher or a premium price, which can affect perceptions of the value of your product? If you are more expensive, that can actually put you on a higher pedestal in the eyes of the market, but it can also cause you to have lower conversions, which means you have to kind of split test it. Do you want it to be lower in that case, which could be, hey, maybe if I split test at 37 instead of 47, it'll work out better. Sometimes you'll be like, hey, if I lower my front end to 37, it gets me actually more people into my funnel, and that gets me more upsells, and then I can actually make more cash. But the main things I guess I would say on pricing in that way, it's about positioning yourself and figuring out, hey, do you want to be on the more expensive end of the market or the cheaper end of the market? When you're selling to more affluent people, they will often only buy things that are more expensive because egotistically they think, hey, the more expensive option is for me. That's why I have like this cheater table in the basement, one of those hang upside down things for my back, but I had to get the more expensive one that was $100 more, that has a stupid pillow behind the neck that adds nothing to it. But for me, I was like, oh, I want the more expensive, the more elite model, basically. You can do that. You can, but it all really comes down to split testing at the end of the day. I usually use other products as kind of a base to figure out where I'm starting from and then split test from there. For a lot of my marketing stuff, what I actually do is I just tease people on Facebook, and I will often build up the value and then kind of poll them and ask, hey, how much do you think this should be? How much do you think this is worth, et cetera? And I kind of can use that a little bit to feel out what it's going to be. Now, as far as how much you charge as a copywriter, that is a little bit of a different thing. And it has to do with results and reputation and just your general skill level more than anything else. When I first got started, I mean, this was 16, 18 years ago, I remember having like heart attacks at the idea of charging $5,000 for a letter. When my buddy Joe Barton hired me, it was $5,000 for a letter, and it just freaked me out over and over again. But for him, that was actually incredibly cheap because those letters that I gave him helped him build his business to 8 figures, and it is still 8 figures to this day. Pretty damn cool. But as far as how much you should charge, what I would do is I would look at other copywriters who are at your relative experience level, and I would try going around that price. What you really want to do, the old adage basically is you want to charge enough that you want to raise your prices to the point that you're basically getting turned down by a certain percentage of people for whom that amount of money just is too much for them. You don't want to be the lowest common denominator copywriter by any means for a variety of reasons. One of which is there's opportunity cost. If you're taking jobs that are not paying you as much as other ones, then you are not taking the jobs that are going to pay you more. You're not making that money. And also it's just about positioning yourself and your level of value and your level of experience in what you're doing. The biggest advice I will give though is don't charge too much before you are ready. There are a lot of copywriters who seem to think they should go out and charge $10,000 for a sales letter or $500 for an email right out of the gate without ever having any kind of proof that they know what they're doing. Take your time, get your reps in, get good, and then you can go for the big bucks. 5 minutes. Bye.